Hello students, welcome back to your favorite channel Learning Point. Today I am going to start with the first chapter of standard 10th and it is a poem. Before starting the poem, I would like all the students to keep their English textbook open, page number 3 of this poem for your better understanding. Is this the free India of our great leaders who dreamed about? So many great peoples have sacrificed their lives for the peace and harmony of this country. And this reminds me of the great poet Rabindranath Tagore and his great poem which reflect humanism. Rabindranath Tagore is to Indians what Shakespeare is to the English. He was a founder of Shantiniketan. A few of his famous works includes Gitanjali, Kabuliwala, etc. He won a Nobel Prize for Gitanjali. This poem, Where the Mind is Without Fear, was originally composed in Bengali, which was taken from Gitanjali, where he has sketched a picture of India of his dream. It is deeply sensitive and a fresh poem. It was written during the time when India was ruled by British. This is more a prayer to God in which, besides political freedom from British, Tagore appeals to God for social, educational and economic freedom for the people of India. This was a brief introduction about the poet Rabindranath Tagore. Now we will read the poem once so that you understand the poem better, and then I will explain you the poems with line by line, and then we will proceed on with the appreciation of the poem. So let's start the poem. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Now, this was the complete poem once, which is written by Rabindranath Tagore, and now there are some hard words which I would like to give the meanings so that the children who do not have a textbook can learn better. The first word in the meaning is narrow domestic walls. The meaning for this is division on the basis of religion, caste, class, and color in societies and between countries of the world. The second word is tireless striving. Meaning is continuous efforts and struggle. The third word is stretches its arms. This means aims at achieving a goal. The next word is dead habit, which means old traditional rituals and customs that are harmful. The next word is ever widening, which means forever broadening one's outlook. The next and the last word is heaven of freedom, which means condition of total freedom of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds while respecting those of others. Now, these meanings are for those children who do not have a textbook, and here are notes given for them which you can copy in your notebook. Explanation of the poem verse by verse. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free. In the opening first two lines, Rabindranath Tagore says that the minds of his countrymen should be free from any fear and their heads should be held high in dignity. He says about a nation where knowledge is free and not restricted by narrow ideas. Everyone should be allowed to acquire knowledge in his country, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. In these lines, the poet says that people should be united and not being broken up into small pieces. There should be no discrimination or division on the basis of religion, caste, class, creed, color, or race, not only in our society but also in the countries of the world as well. Superstitions which narrow the mind and divide people should be a thing of past, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. In these lines, poet says that in his country the words should come out from depth of the heart and spoken out courageously so that everybody in the world can hear. People should work for perfection, leaving aside all superstitious rituals, beliefs, and narrow mindedness. Everyone should work hard either for their own or for the good of the nation, and they should strive tirelessly till they attain full satisfaction in reaching their goals and perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. In these lines, the poet compares logical thinking, reason, to a clear stream and old traditional rituals and customs that are harmful to dreary desert sand of dead habits. Thus, his countrymen should be led by rational thinking and not by any old belief which are harmful, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action. In these lines, poet wants the minds of his countrymen to be led forward by the Almighty so that they broaden our outlook, thoughts, and actions. He means that we should be open minded in our thoughts. We should focus on our future by logical thoughts and actions. Into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. In the closing line of the poem, the poet addresses God as my Father and asks the Almighty to lead the nation to the heaven of freedom, which means where there is total freedom of good thoughts, good words, and good actions. Now, this was the explanation of the whole poem. Now, we'll proceed on with the appreciation of the poem. Appreciation of the poem where the mind is without fear. Let's see the points which we have to cover in this appreciation. First, title. Next, poet. Then, rhyme scheme. Then, favorite line. Then, theme or central idea. Then, figures of speech. Next, special features. Now, in these special features, there are something which you have to highlight. Type of the poem, language, tone, implied meaning, etc. Then next, why I like or dislike the poem. Now, these are the points which are given to you in the papers which you have to answer. Now, you are supposed to keep these points in mind and write the paragraph for the appreciation of the poem in the board exams. Where the Mind is Without Fear, written by Rabindranath Tagore, is a patriotic, reflective poem which is a prayer to God. The poet uses a serious tone to convey his deep religious roots, profound humanism, and indefinite love for his nation. The poet asks God to awaken his country into a heaven of freedom where there is total freedom of good thoughts, good words, and good actions. This poem is a deeply sensitive and refreshing poem. This poem is a reflection of poet's good and ideal nature. The poet appeals to God for social, educational, and economic freedom for the people of India. The poet has written the poem in free verse without any rhyme scheme throughout the poem. Many figures of speech are used by the poet like personification, metaphor, alliteration, apostrophe, and synecdoche. The special feature of this poem is the emotion it conveys and strong feeling of patriotism the poet has for the progress of the country. My favorite line is where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. I like this because it depicts positive emotions like fearlessness, dignity, and self respect. I like this poem as it awakens the feeling of patriotism where there is total freedom of good thoughts, good words, and good actions. Students, we have completed the first poem, explanation, and the appreciation. If you like my channel, subscribe it, like it, and share as much as you can. And just press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever a new video is uploaded by me and you keep on learning. Till then, stay home and stay learning with me.